Hello, I'm John Thorne from Thorny Motorsport, and this is a slightly different video for us. This is a video in response to the social media furore, which has surrounded a picture we put up on our Facebook page regarding a turbo failure on our Mclaren 12C. Now, we put the picture up because it was interesting. We've never seen a turbo failure of that kind on a Mclaren, so we thought it was an interesting point. However, what we have learned is that internet is full of very important people, all with huge expertise, and as a result of that, it has caused all kinds of argument and threat about what has caused the issue. Now, first of all, I have two apologies to make. Apology number one is I put that picture up before we finished the investigation work. So, as a result of that, it caused some conjecture, which has turned quite nasty. My second apology is that I was very wrong in using the word cheap. Okay, the picture I put up was along the lines of saying this is what a cheap cat does to damage a Mclaren turbo. And I was wrong to use the word cheap. The word I should have used was shit, because that's exactly what has happened. Now, before you go running to your keyboards for reasons, let's go through the scenario of what has happened. This is a Mclaren 12C. It has just over 70,000 miles on the clock, and it is well known to us and arguably well known to the McLaren owners in the UK, where we are. It has had a reasonably hard life, but we've looked after it, and other than a few niggly issues, it's been reasonably straightforward. However, the car was sold to another person, and that person came into us asking for a power increase, a remap. Now, we knew the car had an interesting life, but it was not something we were concerned about. But it had an engine management light on because the previous owner had fitted a set of aftermarket cats. Now, I won't go into who supplied them, that's not our decision, but they were aftermarket, non-OEM cats. As a result, the car had an engine management light on, which the new owner wanted removed, which is fair enough. We looked into the car and we said that the cats had issues. The light that was on referred to some issues with the cat efficiency, and our recommendation was that the cats should be removed and the OEM cats, which the original owner supplied the new owner, should be replaced, which he agreed. In the process of taking off those cats and putting the OEM cats back on, we found both the cats had failed. Now, catalytic converter is basically a mesh of metal inside a tube. And in that mesh of metal are coatings in there which do the respective treatments to allow you to pass emissions tests. For our American colleagues, cats are an essential requirement for cars in the UK. If you take them off, you're breaking the law and you will fail all kinds of emissions tests. In America, I know you take them off and you decap them, which is fine, but we can't do that in the UK. So these cats come off, and there are two sides, left and a right. One cat had literally fallen out. It had completely disassembled from the edge of the pipework and was literally rotating round and round on a 90-degree axis. I've never seen it before in 20 years of tuning cars. Never seen a cat completely fail and then turn sideways. We were quite almost amused by this point. The other cat had also come completely loose and was rotating round. And we've got some videos and pictures of these, which we showed to the customer and said, look, this isn't so good. Two cats completely destroyed this way is a little unfortunate. And the fact that aftermarket cats would suggest that there's an issue with them, therefore put the OEM cats on. Which of course we did, so we took it off. So we took the cats off, put the new cats on. While we were doing that, we decided to have a look at the turbos. And to our dismay, we found both the turbos had excess play on the bearings, on the exhaust side. It's what you can see and take exhaust out. Bearing in mind that play on the bearing on both was there, we, with authority from the owner, took the turbos off. One turbo was the subject of the picture that I put on our Facebook page, where the impellers were completely destroyed. The other turbo, the impellers were fine, but there was about 1.5 mil of play on the bearing. Now, so what you've got, two turbos. One has its inlet side impellers literally smashed to pieces, gone. And there's about 3 millimeters of play on the bearing, which obviously spins around. The other turbo, the blades are fine, but there's about 1.5 mil of travel on the bearing, both of which are bad. Combined with that, two cats completely smashed to pieces. So, our view, and we maintain this, is that on one side, where the cat has rotated to 90 degrees, either the turbo has oversped, in other words, it's spun too fast, which has caused the bearings to fail. The bearings have failed, the impellers have touched the sides of the casing of turbo and then smashed themselves to pieces. Or B, which we think is possibly more likely, and we've spoken to a cat manufacturer who also thinks this is the case, so it's his call to some extent, is that that cat had turned 90 degrees. That had blocked the airflow, and therefore the turbo had stalled, thereby causing the same bearing damage, and thereby the same damage to the impellers. Now, the other turbo doesn't show any impeller damage, but it does show bearing failure because of the excess play we have. So both turbos have had damage. Both cats have disassembled from the pipe, one rotating 90 degrees and one just loose inside. So in our view, us describing the cats as cheap, or in our case, shit, is pretty accurate. Even when a cat fails, it shouldn't simply disassemble itself and rattle around inside the exhaust pipe. It's not a thing happen. Now the other question is, why has this happened? We've never seen a turbo failure on a 12C of this kind. We've seen a few seal failures, but nothing like this ever. So what has been the cause of this? Now, first things first, we discover during the course of all this social media furore is that the previous owner has already had one set of cats replaced by the manufacturer, the OEM cats. Now, we've never heard of that before either. The most I've heard is one cat failing on a track day car. Rarely have I seen cats replaced under warranty for any 12C. So this particular owner has had a complete set of OEM cats replaced and then had a set of aftermarket cats destroyed. So we're of the mind that maybe there's a connection here. Now, one thing that we have been quite vocal about is the idea of a static revving your car, revving it up, trying to get it to flame out, etc. And I've been quite overt in saying to people, that's a really shit thing to do to your car. All you are doing is throwing neat fuel into your cats, which generates huge amounts of heat, and cats don't like being cooked. So the fact that we think that this owner on social media is revving the car quite hard, static, has damaged one set of cats, has now destroyed a second set of cats, may well be related to the issue that's happened in terms of cats themselves, and thereby damage to the turbo. Now, the pictures you see on the turbos do show impeller damage from contact, but the bearing is what's causing the issue. The bearing has become loose, and therefore the impeller has touched the sides of the turbo. Once it's spinning at X 100,000 RPM, it's going to smash into the side and literally destroy itself. It's what's happened on one side. And that's the side where the cat has rotated to 90 degrees. Either it's turbo stall, or it's turbo overspeed, and the extra air going around it has caused the turbo to speed up too much, allowing the bearing to fail. I'm pretty confident in that. In actual fact, I'm very confident in that. So anyone out there on a keyboard want to challenge it, no problem at all. Come down here and look at the turbo and see what you think. But we're fairly confident the fact you've got two cats have failed, and both turbos have failed in the bearing. On a car where the previous owner has already had a full set of cats replaced, and is on social media revving the hell out of it stationary, I'm pretty confident in what we've come to. So where do we go from here? First of all, let's be absolutely clear about this one. This customer came to us for a remap, for more power, and we've turned him down. We said, no, this isn't right to put more power in this car, he needs fixing. We haven't sold him a cat or an upgrade or exhaust or anything at all. All we have done is simply fix the problems. The cats we put on the original car were his OEM cats. He supplied them. He's even supplied his own turbos, because as far as we're concerned, we're happy to fit other parts if that's the way you want to do it. We obviously can't warranty them because they're not supplied by us, but we're happy to do so. This isn't an example of trying to squeeze money out of somebody. Absolutely not. We're trying to look after the owner. And the new owner, fortunately, is understanding. He wants the car to work perfectly. So he's paid for two new turbos, or two rebuild turbos rather, and put the OEM cats back on. And we're confident that will solve that particular problem, together with not static revving it all the time. But it's worthwhile mentioning this. And the reason why I suddenly got all unpleasant is because there are people on our social media links, why they follow us, no idea, who basically have said to us, the cats haven't failed, you're full of shit, you're saying the cats are terrible, you're trying to upsell cats. First thing is, no we're not. We put the OEM cats back on, which are custom supplied. Secondly, we actually refused work on this car because we wouldn't refuse to put more power through it and had a problem with it. And thirdly, unless you can come up with a better solution as to why both the cats have failed, literally destroyed, causing both the turbos to have excess play on their bearings, one of which contacting the side, therefore causing the damage, I'm all ears. Because that's the only source we can have. And we've spoken to Mclaren, who confirmed that turbos overspinning was an issue when they built it, hence they put some leeway into the car that, by definition, putting aftermarket cats on will use some of. And also we've spoken to a cat manufacturer who happens to be a Mclaren owner, and he confirms, looking at the way the cat is actually separated from the tube, is substandard. A cat shouldn't do that. Ergo, us saying the word cheap, which I apologise for, is wrong. Shit is the word. These are shit cats, and the result of those being on the car, and potentially result of the owner static revving it repeatedly, causing the cats to overheat, which wouldn't be the cat's fault. Can't blame the cat manufacturer for that, as why it's failed. And that's why our turbo's failed, and that's why the new one's looking at a big bill. Now, we will help, but it's worthwhile putting this video out there as a warning to people. First of all, if you static rev your car and you have cats on your car, you will damage the cats. No middle ground there, okay? Aftermarket cats, brand new cats, OEM cats, it makes a difference. They don't like having neat fuel thrown into them, which is what flaming basically is. Again, for my American colleagues, well, you can decat the cars out there, fine. There is no cat to damage. You still have fueling to consider and turbo overs, Bs and stall to consider, but it's less of an issue than having a cat to cook. Okay, but in the UK and in most of Europe, where cats are a legal requirement, it's something to bear in mind. All right, so I've no doubt this particular video will cause another social furore from all those people who sell cats for a living, saying what a complete scumbag I am. And you know what? Tough shit. Okay, I call it as I see it. I've got a customer there with a car he's bought second hand. Now has a huge bill to pay to try and fix the problems that were caused by the previous owner. Net result, this one is that we will get him a car and it will be perfect at the end of it with the right components on it, and it won't cost him thousands and thousands of pounds to rebuild it. But for those people who sit there who put race cats on their cars, etc., fine, got no problem with that. Decent manufacturer, I'm sure they're fine. But combine that with static revving, you're making a bomb for your own place. It may not be your car when you have it when it goes up. All right, I look forward to the huge amount of abuse and comments from this. I've been tuning into 20 years, water off a duck's back. Okay, the bottom line here is that yes, a good cat can make interesting increase in power and it's good for the car. Badly treated or a bad quality cat or combination of both will cause more damage than you can possibly imagine. All right, thanks for watching. Back to normal programming of the 720 stuff if we ever get it back from the dealer. Okay, cheers.